On Monday, the U.S. Senate passed its version of a new farm bill. The new 5-year plan would expand crop insurance and cut food stamp funding. But while the House of Representatives prepares to take up the Senate bill, the House's own bill has yet to reach the floor. Much of the language that derailed last year's House version is in the current iteration. I spoke with Oklahoma U.S. Representative Frank Lucas, chair of the House Agriculture Committee, to learn where this is all heading. Congressman Lucas, where does the House version of the Farm Bill stand now?
At the present time, the House Agriculture Committee has cleared by a overwhelming bipartisan vote the 2013, I should say, Farm Bill. It appears that it will come to the floor of the United States House next week. That's not officially been announced by the Rules Committee, but I would expect consideration on the floor next Wednesday and Thursday.
And Speaker Boehner is endorsing this bill.
Absolutely. He announced in a Republican conference meeting of House members this week that while he might not necessarily agree with every section of the bill and he might cast votes to make some changes, that nonetheless, once the amendment process was done, the consideration on the floor of the House, he would be voting for passage of the Farm Bill this year on the floor of the United States House.
Last year, the bill did not make it to the House floor. What's the difference this year?
Well, at the time, leadership said, and perhaps they were right, that the votes weren't there to pass the bill, that with the huge influx of new members, with the strong feelings about entitlement programs and mandatory spending and budget issues and the deficit, that the support just wasn't there to craft something that was so important to rural America and, for that matter, ultimately to consumers in this country. Now, this year is after another election, a few more new faces. Some of the freshman members of last time have had a little more time to learn and understand the policy issues. And, in all fairness, last year was also a presidential campaign year, and that kind of made the whole legislative process berserk. Now we're a little calmer, we're a little more mature. I think we're prepared to make real policy decisions.
There is also a Senate bill.
Yes, the Senate, the United States Senate cleared their version of the bill earlier, both from committee, and it is now passed across the floor of the United States Senate. It passed by virtually a 2-to-1 margin, a substantial margin of victory. The thing I would note is as the House bill goes to the floor, it's different in some ways than the Senate bill. We both achieve savings. The House version, as it goes to the floor, saves approximately $40 billion. The Senate draft saves approximately $24.5 billion. So differences there. $20.5 billion of our savings comes out of reforming the food stamp programs, SNAP. The Senate saves about $4.5 billion in reforms in the food stamp program. So a substantial difference there. We both still maintain, though, a strong safety net for production ag, and we still maintain a safety net for those part of our fellow citizens who are having tough times economically.
Although there are differences, as you pointed out, including the food stamp programs, are the winds blowing in favor of an agreement being reached and passed?
Yes, as the membership comes to focus on the bill, now that they're looking at the reforms we've made, first fundamental reforms in food stamps since 1996, on the commodity title, doing away with direct payments and a variety of other very fundamental changes. Now that they're focusing, they're looking, they're realizing this is a good bill. The support is building for it. I think we'll have a lot of amendments next week. I don't know whether it'll be 20 or 30, 40, 50. I don't know yet. The Rules Committee's not decided, but we'll have a lot of amendments addressing virtually every facet of the Farm Bill. And from that process, the debate on the amendments, the votes on the amendments, the debate on the bill, I hope we can achieve consensus, and I believe we will achieve that consensus and pass a Farm Bill next week off the floor of the United States House. Now, at that point, we'll go to conference with the United States Senate and work out our differences, and we'll see what happens there. But the next step is to cross the floor of the United States House in a very open process, and that's what we're about to do.
Congressman Frank Lucas, chair of the House Agriculture Committee, as always, thank you for your time.
Thank you.